Hey y'all, and welcome to the Crazy Sock Lady YouTube channel. My name is Kay, and this is my YouTube channel where I share all about my knitting, crocheting, and crafting adventures. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as The Crazy Sock Lady, and I will have links down below for everywhere that you can find me, as well as show notes for this little Scrappy Sunday chat that will include links to project pages, links to shops that I talk about, all of that good stuff. It's going to be right down below this video in the description box for you. So today we are going to chat about all of my Scrappy projects, and there are a couple of new ones that you guys have not seen yet, so that's exciting. If you are new to this space and you are not sure what Scrappy Sunday is, hashtag Scrappy Sunday over on Instagram. I like to post on Sunday about all of my Scrappy projects. It's a day where I take a little bit of time, sometimes a lot of time on Sunday, and just put a little bit of love and attention into my Scrappy projects, because otherwise I found that they tend to fall to the back burner and they don't get any love or attention. And it's just a good day to kind of reset and refresh that creative part of my mind to get ready for the coming week. So 5 works in progress today, 5. 2 new ones. We're gonna jump right in with my Cozy Memories blanket first. And I'll kind of walk you guys through, as I'm showing you the projects, is what I'm doing with my scraps right now as I have them. So first they go into my Cozy Memories, and I have this in a bag from Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel. And for this, I follow the pattern called The Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray, and I will have it linked down below. And first, when I'm done with a project, these are all fingering weight yarns, by the way. When I am done with a project, whether it's socks or whatever it may be that I've used fingering weight for, they go into this project bag. See, I've got some down inside of there. I just toss them in here, and then I will pull from this bag to add to my Cozy Memories. I am not too far along on this one. It's just fairly recently been started. So I'm kind of working around squaring it off as I go. And here is the center portion right there. Those were my first 4 squares. And then I've just worked out from that point. So I did differ from the pattern. Well, I've differed from the pattern quite a bit. I loosely follow that pattern, I guess I should say. She does not have you start out with like a, the points going out in all directions. You just start from one square and then work your way out from that. I've done it a bit differently. This is how I did my last one as well. Made it so there's a center point and then everything radiates out from that center. And I do have notes on my project page for how I start and end my rows. Let's see if you guys can see that. See the little V's on the side? So see if I can remember off the top of my head. I slip the first stitch with the yarn in the back. No. I knit the first stitch through the back loop, slip the last stitch with the yarn in the front. That sounds right. It's for sure in my project page, but that just gives it a little bit of a neater edging. And then when you go, because you're not knitting a square and then attaching it to the blanket, you're just picking up these stitches along the edge and building your squares off of what you already have. So if you do your beginning and end of row like that, it's going to make it easier to pick up those stitches. So that's my little tip for that. I am using, let me grab my needles. It is a US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter signature straights needles. I will link them down below. And I'm also casting on a different amount of stitches than the pattern recommends. I can't remember now what it recommends, but I cast on 40 stitches for mine. So there's 20 stitches on one side of the square and 20 stitches on the other side of the square. Once I have added my square, I can't remember now how much these take, but they do not take very much yarn at all. So I always have a ton left over, even from a smaller amount of scraps. So once I've added it into here, I have just a little Ziploc bag that I keep in this project bag, and they go into here so that I don't get them confused. Once this bag is full, I empty it into this basket right here. And this is what I've just started doing since I started this Cozy Memories, I should say. This is my second Cozy Memories blanket. And this is the process I'm doing for scraps with this one. So I put them in this basket right here. Just a plain basket. I can't even remember where I got it. Probably Walmart. They go into here, and right now I'm doing a pair of socks for Eric with some of the scraps that are in here. Obviously I don't think he'd appreciate that purple and pink, but some of the ones that are in here, I've started a pair of socks for him. I'll show you those now. Or I'll show you the first sock because that's as far as I am right now. And it's definitely a crazy, scrappy sock. So right now I have 4 different yarns in here, and in trying to use up even more of these yarns, because let's see, where's the top one? Like here's the cuff. With this yarn, I have made a full pair of vanilla socks with this length of leg, I think 10, 20, 30, 40. No, with a leg that's even longer than this, 10 rounds longer than the leg you see here. So I have made a pair of socks with this, a square into my Cozy Memories, and 1 cuff. And I still have that much left. I have a ton of this yarn left still. So with the leg, after I did the cuff and I still had that much left, I thought, well, let's do, instead of like 10 rounds and then we use another yarn, let's try to do a big chunk of each color as we go. So this is what I used for the leg, and these are all leftovers from projects I've done. Still that much left after a 50 round leg. So the second sock I will do to match because I have plenty of this yarn left, is kind of what I'm getting at. So the socks will be scrappy, but they will match each other. I did the instructions from my vanilla socks on DPNs is what I followed for this. A size medium, slip stitch heel flap and gusset, and then I'm just working down the foot. So definitely crazy, but I think they're super fun. The scrappier the better for me, and he said he doesn't mind. I am using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. They are signature DPNs. And it's kind of, I don't know, I'm enjoying these socks, but in doing this, I'm like, okay, even after I do a pair of scrappy socks, I just feel like I am still gonna have so much yarn left. So I feel like I need to figure out something else to do. Even after I've done a square in my Cozy Memories, put them in here, and then this is gonna, my plan is just to do scrappy socks with whatever ends up in here. But then after I've used them in scrappy socks, I'm still gonna have some left. So I need another project that they can then go into after this basket. Any suggestions you have, put them down below. Something that I think a crochet granny stripe would be perfect for this. I have a couple going that I'll show you in just a moment, but maybe something else, because I think with a crochet granny stripe, the ones I'm doing right now, I'm using mini skeins, but if I were to start one and just say I'm going to use up all of the yarn that I have right here, it would be great for that, because I could just use whatever is left out of here and just crochet until it's gone. So that one would be perfect, and I do love it, and I would not mind starting another one, but maybe if I could find something else, then that would be fun to find a new pattern. Or I'm kind of thinking of just winging it and doing like a corner to corner, but a knitted corner to corner. I think I already know in my head how you would do the decreases, or the increases and then the decreases. So I could just start that and use up every little bit that I have out of here, attach them with a magic knot, and just keep going. So I don't know, let me know if you have any ideas down below for what I can do that basically is something that would not be just like a tiny little square that's only going to use a little bit of yarn. I want to just start with a scrap, use it all up, and then go to the next scrap. So let me know your ideas. Okay, like I said, I have 2 crochet granny stripes. So let's talk about those. They are in this bag from Mountain State Stitches. And I will have her shop linked below. She did have an update with these bags, but I'm not sure if there's any yet left. I didn't check before I started recording, but I know she just recently had an update with those. So these are crochet granny stripe blankets. I am using up mini skeins out of this. This basket, as you can see, is still very full, but it is from Swapless Swaps that we had in the Crazy Sock Lady Ravelry group. And what those were is just you would sign up. There was one a month. It was a different yarn dyer each month. We haven't had one in quite a while, but there was a different yarn dyer each month, and you just got a bag of minis from that yarn dyer, and then you could sign up for the next month if you wanted. So these have just been accumulating throughout the whole time that we were having those in the group. And now I am determined to use them up. So these are just going into these blankets. This one was not only from there. This one I had minis from an advent calendar that somebody had sent to me. I think it was from Lay Family Yarn. She had purchased it and then didn't end up using it and wanted to send it to me. So that is what this one started with. And then I've just started adding minis from it. So I will show you this one first because this is the first one I started. Let me grab my crochet hook out of here. I have the tutorial linked that I followed in the project page for both of these. I followed the same tutorial. They're done the same way. I chained 300 stitches. It is folded double, so it's pretty big. Let's give you a close-up there. And I have my Scrappy Sunday Progress Keeper on there. I believe there's still some of those left in my Etsy shop. I'll link it down below. That's where I was last Scrappy Sunday episode. So I've gotten that much more done. I will go ahead and move this up so I don't forget. The crochet hook I'm using is a Tulip Atimo 2.5 millimeter. These are my absolute favorites. They are a tad bit expensive, but they are my favorite crochet hooks. So this one, as you can see, is just kind of followed the same kind of pastel-y, lighter, muted colors throughout. I love it, but as you can see, there's really not a ton of minis that will go in this one. Definitely not as many as what would go in just a completely random blanket. So I had to start another one. So here's that one. I'm following the same, using the same size hook, cast on or chained the same amount of stitches to start it. I have another Progress Keeper out of the Etsy shop. Every Sunday is Scrappy Sunday, marking where I was last Scrappy Sunday chat. So I think I got about the same amount of work done on each of these. I know like last Sunday I only did 1 mini per blanket, 2 squares in my Cozy Memories. So I didn't get a ton of work done. Everything got touched last Sunday, but not a ton of progress on any one. So I love this one. I love that it's completely random, that I can grab anything out of there and put it in here, and it doesn't really matter. These are definitely really fun to do. I did it when I started doing Scrappy projects, I thought I'm not gonna do a crochet granny stripe. I've done so many granny stripe and granny square blanket over the years because I was a crocheter first, but I love them. I'm so happy I started them. I've been thinking of starting another one, another couple actually, which is just totally crazy. I mean, as I said, I think that it would be perfect for everything that's left, unless you guys can point me in the direction of another pattern that I can do. And then also, so this basket has just a ton of different, it's all fingering weight yarns. Every Scrappy project that I'm showing is fingering weight yarns. But let me find, yeah. So this is, that one might not show it very well. An example of something that doesn't really bother me to do any project, but I'm kind of thinking I may start another one for just these kinds of yarns. So this is the like base of yarns that I have been using in my blanket. This is more of like a 4-ply 75-25 type of yarn. You can see the twist on it. Then if you look at this one, this is more of what you'd see with like an 80-20, I think what is that, a 2-ply? So you can see that the twist is different on these. So I'm thinking of another crochet granny stripe for just these, because there's a ton of this twist in here. I don't really mind mixing them all together, but maybe it's just an excuse to start another granny stripe blanket. That's probably totally crazy. Okay, last project. You guys have not seen this one yet either. This is a shawl that I'm working on that I'm just kind of winging and making up as I go. I'm of course using scraps for this. I'm actually holding yarn double. So the first yarn, both are fingering weight. This is a magic knot cake of yarn, and I do have a tutorial for how to do a magic knot. I will link it down below. I just went through, it was minis that was out of this, and just created this huge, it was 200, I think I have it in here, I weighed it, 209.2 grams total for this. So a ton of minis in here. And then the other yarn is just, I'm at the end of this one, so there's not much left, but this is just a Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in white. So I'm holding those double and just kind of messing around with a shawl design. Here's where it is so far. Looks like it might be a little bright. There we go. So I just started out down here and I'm working up. It's just garter. I've got some eyelets all flat along this side, and then I'm doing some increases down here. And my idea is just to keep going until, I'm gonna go until I use up half of the magic knot ball, see what the size is like, and then start decreasing. So it'll be a point on this end, and then it'll go down to be a point. It'll be like a triangular shaped shawl, and then I'll decrease back down to a point. So it's going to be hopefully huge and squishy and massive and perfect to cozy up with in the winter time. And I'm just going to kind of see where it goes. I don't know, I'm just having fun and playing around. I'm using my Knitter's Pride Zing interchangeable needles, a US 8. I'm loving it. It's so squishy. I'm not doing anything special when the yarn switches to a new color, just going along with the pattern. So I'll see where this goes and what I do with it. It's just been a lot of fun to, I started it a while back, but it's just been a lot of fun to pick this up and work on it here and there and use up some more minis. All right, so that is it for the Scrappy projects today. I hope that you guys are working on something today as you're watching this, since this will go up on Scrappy Sunday. and I will see you guys again soon. Until then, happy knitting and crocheting. Bye.